I made a horrible mistake. I took piano lessons for 8 years, and one day it all just stopped. Now, thinking back to those 8 years, all I can remember is how much time was wasted. But every time I think about those 8 years, I am compelled to play. To this day, I am still practicing to make up for all the time I wasted. I still remember that one day when I was 5, I was playing with my neighbors who were a few years older than me. The oldest of us, Kelly, handed me a small business card with the name Ina Wetmore, written in elegant cursive. Mrs. Wetmore taught piano and lived just 5 minutes away from me. I gave the business card to my mother and she asked me, "Are you interested?" At the time, I was quite curious about trying new things, so I answered quickly with a shrug. Sure. I had not expected that this was the starting point of an 8-year-long journey. Mrs. Wetmore graduated from the Tchaikovsky Music Reservatory, the best music institution in Russia. She played the piano her whole life and taught music in colleges. She was almost 70 at that time. On the following weekend, I visited Mrs. Wetmore. She lived alone in a house next to Lincoln Park in Fairfield. We immediately sat down in front of the piano and started with Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. She patiently explained to me the different aspects of the piano and how I should go about playing. I made quick progress on the piece, and before I knew it, it was time to go. My first lesson had passed in what felt like 5 minutes, but was 45. Although Mrs. Wetmore had an accent, sometimes preventing me from understanding, she was truly a great teacher. I knew I wanted to go again. I knew I loved piano as soon as I left that house. I had attended Mrs. Wetmore's lessons for 2 years before I was introduced to the music festival at Fairfield University. She showed me the many photos of her with her other students holding beautiful golden trophies, faces beaming with smiles and pride. As soon as I saw this, I thought, I want one too. The way to win a trophy requires the participants to earn 15 points. Each year, the participant can play in one performance consisting of 2 piano pieces, which are overseen by 2 judges who grade the performance. The highest grade is gold, which is worth 5 points, followed by silver being 4 and bronze being 3. When one's accumulated points exceed 15, he or she is awarded the golden trophy. That was what I had been aiming for. I practiced for 7 months leading up to the festival. I gave it everything I had. On the first day of my festival, I was scared out of my mind. My head was flooded with so many worries. What if I choke and forget? What if I mess up? But when my time came to sit in front of the piano, I forgot about all my worries and I played. I had spent so many months preparing and the time had come, and I wouldn't allow any setbacks. When I played, there was nothing else in my mind except for the next measure to come. The judgment process is lengthy, and it was a blur waiting for the result. The next thing I can remember was a few weeks later, Mrs. Wetmore handed me a certificate with a huge eye-catching gold medal printed on the page. I just needed 2 more golds, 10 more points. Each year, I played one level up. The pieces became more and more difficult to play, but more elegant to enjoy. My following festival was another gold medal, followed by an unfortunate silver, and then I finished the 4th year strong with another gold medal. I finally obtained my golden trophy. Though I had enjoyed these festival performances quite a lot, each year I would worry about the festival for several months. It was an unnecessary stress, and with increasing study load and sports activities, I was no longer gifted with as much free time as I used to have. I asked my mother to speak to Mrs. Wetmore about allowing me to take a break from the festivals. That was when my practice started falling. No longer impaired with a significant event at the start of the year, I stopped practicing. I often use the excuse, I don't have time, but I knew that was not true. I could have found time, but I did not want to. I just did not want to practice. I continued my lessons with Mrs. Wetmore without completing her assignments, and she knew it right away. She tried everything to reinvigorate my interest in playing. She talked to my mom on the phone several times to discuss what they could do. Nothing worked. My interaction with my piano had dropped to the minimum level. I almost only played at her class. I was about to give up. Fast forward to November of 2018. I had just returned from a fun day at school when I heard the dreadful news. My kind piano teacher fell ill. Mrs. Wetmore had to stop the lessons, and she was moved into a nursing home to stay since there was not much the doctors could do for her. I promised her that I would continue practicing, but I didn't know how without her guidance. I started to long for those 45-minute lessons. I was tired of doing nothing. Each day, I waited for Mrs. Wetmore to get better and continue my education, but she never did. It was a peaceful Wednesday night. I was about to go to sleep when my mother gave me the news I feared. That night, I could not stop thinking about all the peaceful and happy times that we spent in her crowded living room, how she introduced me to the wonderful world of music, how I started learning the piano from the single notes to beginning composing my own pieces under her guidance. The most regretful was how much time I wasted in the past couple of years. I should have cherished those lessons if I knew there was an unavoidable ending to it. I should have kept participating in the music festival, and I might have won my second trophy, which would have made both her and me so happy. Although I don't take piano lessons anymore, playing piano has become one of the hobbies I am truly passionate about. I choose the music pieces to my own taste and play them for myself, my family, and my friends to create new happy memories, and in the memory of my great piano teacher and the wonderful times that we spent together. Now I will show you one of the pieces I have performed. Thank you.